Milo always thought if he could just reach a field where he could choose any carrot he wanted, he would never feel lost again. But the strangest thing happened the day he finally got there. Milo stood in the middle of thousands of carrots, and by sunset, he still hadn't picked a single one. Not because there were no carrots, because there were too many. If more choices mean more freedom, then why did Milo feel more trapped than ever? He saw the first carrot. Not bad. Then he saw the second. Maybe this one is better. The third. The color of this one looks nicer. A few minutes later, Milo wasn't looking for a carrot anymore. He was looking for the best decision of his life. In the middle of the field was a sign, recommended by successful rabbits. Milo smiled. Then this must be the one. 3 steps later, he saw a bigger sign. New, even better carrot. Milo sighed. There's an even better one? This is where most rabbits get stuck. It isn't the number of carrots. If every carrot looked exactly the same, Milo would have grabbed the first one without thinking. What made this field overwhelming was that every carrot seemed to promise a completely different future. One promises money. One promises peace. One promises success. And one is probably only popular because other rabbits take pictures with it. Milo was no longer comparing carrots. He was comparing futures that didn't even exist yet. He finally made a decision. He reached out for a carrot. But right before pulling it from the ground, he looked at the next row. A shinier carrot. Then a bigger one. Then one with a sign that said 99.9% rabbits approved. Milo whispered, what did the other 0.1% see? That one question stopped his decision completely. Here's what our brains tend to do. Every new option doesn't simply add another possibility. It quietly makes the previous one feel less certain. That's why some people spend 45 minutes scrolling through movies and watch nothing. Why they spend weeks searching for the perfect productivity app, but never get any work done. Or save 10 online courses without starting the first lesson. The problem isn't that they're looking for a good choice. They're looking for a perfect one. And the perfect choice runs away every time a new option appears. Researchers have noticed something interesting. Give people a few options, and they usually make thoughtful decisions. Keep adding more, and eventually the brain stops feeling curious and starts feeling overwhelmed. Not because it's lazy, but because every new choice creates a new future and a new possible regret. At that moment, choosing no longer feels like gaining one carrot. It feels like losing hundreds of others. And freedom quietly turns into pressure. And the worst part is this. After a certain point, more information doesn't improve the decision. It only creates more questions. What if the other one was better? What if I searched a little longer? Sometimes the brain doesn't need more information. It needs an end to the search. Milo suddenly stopped. Wait a second. Am I actually looking for a carrot? Or am I just afraid of being wrong? In that moment, he realized. That's when Milo noticed something. None of this was really about carrots anymore. His mind had quietly turned one simple decision into a story about success, failure, and what choosing wrong might say about him. If you choose the wrong carrot, maybe you were never meant to succeed. But most decisions in life are not tests. They're experiments. If this carrot wasn't good, he could try another one. The world wouldn't end. Some decisions are reversible, and for those, you don't need 100% certainty. Milo took a step back, and then he noticed something else. The carrots he hadn't chosen yet hadn't disappeared, but each one was taking up a little space in his mind. It was as if hundreds of quiet voices were whispering, "What if I'm better?" Every open choice takes a small piece of your attention with it. Sometimes not deciding is more exhausting than making the decision itself. This time, instead of looking at the carrots, Milo asked himself, what am I actually looking for today? Not next year. Today. He was just hungry.
Suddenly, most of the carrots in the field stopped mattering. When you know what you're looking for, half the choices disappear on their own. Then Milo made a simple rule. Only 3 carrots, no more. Anything outside those 3 options didn't exist for now. Then he told himself, by the time the sun reaches that tree, I will choose 1. Because more time doesn't always create a better decision. Sometimes it just creates more anxiety. Milo finally picked a carrot. Not the best one, just the right one for his goal. He took the first bite. He smiled. Then he laughed. All day, I was stressing over something that was only 1 bite away. Some answers aren't found by thinking. They only appear after you start. Every step gives you information you could never get before taking action. You learn more from 1 real decision than 100 imagined ones. The sun set. Thousands of carrots were still in the field. But it didn't matter anymore, because Milo had realized not choosing is still a choice. It's just usually more expensive. Maybe success isn't about finding the perfect carrot. Maybe it's simply about having the courage to pick the first one, because the path appears after the first step, not before it. If Milo learned one thing today, it was that the brain doesn't always tell the truth. Sometimes it just tells a story that keeps you from moving. If you want to discover more secrets of the mind with Milo, subscribe. The next carrot might be the small step that changes everything.